Today I'm looking at Atari's commercial failure 40 years later, and that's the Atari 5200. I'm a fan of this beast of a console, and it just didn't do well when it first came out. It was several issues as documented in the Atari 50 game compilation that just came out. I have a 2-port here. I have several box copies. I did another video on my collection, but I like this console. I'm going to help you with your journey collecting this. Now, you can mod this like I have with better video out options, but that dreaded controller really killed it back in the day. Luckily for you, there are several other options out on the market that make this console a lot better. And so one of the big issues is that it wasn't compatible out of the box with Atari 2600 games. Later on, they made an actual adapter that you could play your 2600 games, but by then it was too late. There are third-party controllers as well and adapters that you can use, as that original controller is just dreadful. It's one of my least favorite controllers to use. There also is a new creator, Retro Game Boys, and he makes aftermarket controllers. This is the 5200 arcade stick that I use for my setup. The link will be below to that. The 5200 had some amazing unique abilities. It had a controller holder for a couple games. Space Dungeon comes to mind, as well as Robotron 2084. These were fantastic additions that were pretty unique to the console. Space Dungeon especially. Robotron 2084, not my favorite version of it. So, you know, for the 5200, Space Dungeon really is one of my favorite games. The trackball was massive, and I do recommend, if you do collect for this, which it is expensive to collect for, as that trackball experience is really going to give an awesome arcade feel to games such as Centipede. It can work with many other games as well, and looks fantastic. Has a lot better graphics than the 2600, and you're going to have your favorites. So I've been collecting a long time, and you know, collecting for the 5200 can be expensive. There wasn't a huge library versus the 2600. I do have a complete US library, as I've been collecting a long time. There are many games out there, but a lot of them are expensive. Lucky for you, there are alternatives to some of these more expensive games, and I'm going to be sharing that with you. I want to help collectors out. I want to help people that want to play on original hardware. You can always emulate, and you can go that route, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, the rarest game on the console is Bounty Bob Strikes Back, and this is offered on the Atari 50 compilation. It just came out, and I show that on my channel if you want to check it out, or play on modern platforms. But the library offered many things that just are unique. You know, Berserk with the voice enhanced is a good version of Berserk. I don't know if it's my favorite version of Berserk. I'm going to do a future video on the many ports of Berserk with some new ones, but I do enjoy 5200 Berserk. There also was a lot of unreleased games and prototypes. I actually collect prototypes for the Atari 5200. I have 10 in my possession. I have dumped all of these publicly, and definitely there was just a lot of things out there that just never made it. The good news is that these are playable many different ways. This is Battlezone. Battlezone never came out, and Near Complete. And I don't know if it's, you know, I can see why it wasn't released, but there's a lot of cool things like this that would have flushed out the library a little bit more. Do I think that these games would have saved the 5200 from its demise? I don't think so. I think there was many factors that made the 5200 not successful or accepted by general public. But the collectors out there, the enthusiasts, the programmers that really wanted to showcase what the 5200 was capable of, have made this a better console. Speaking of support, if you want to help me out, consider hitting that like and subscribe button and clicking the bell, as I'm uploading videos every week. And I know more than half of you who are watching this have not subscribed yet, so please help me out, and it would be most appreciated. So back to what Atari 5200 offered and didn't. I think that there was many things that it could have done more, but luckily for you, there are aftermarket games galore, hacks, things that are better or never were offered are now offered now, whether digital or physical. Now, some of the physical releases here are still available, but for many kind of the limited run stuff, it's long gone. Luckily, though, Atari Age offers some of the polished versions of Venture 2, Ratcatcher, and Tempest, Scramble, and more coming. 5200 box games, they look professional, and if you want to support Atari Age, I totally recommend it. But for some of you out there, maybe you want to go an alternative route, and I have some options for you. Number one, you need to get an Atari Max Ultimate SD multi-cart. This is the number one accessory on top of like probably a controller, third-party controller option with your 5200 to move forward and fully enjoy and experience it on original hardware. Absolutely fantastic option with lots of original games and unique games you can only play with this. That's right. It's a multi-cart, but it's much more. It comes with Beef Drop, and it's a really cool port of Burger Time. And I don't know if it's my favorite version of Burger Time, but it's well done on the 5200 and a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And so the 5200 kind of gets overlooked. You know, yes, you can collect for the Atari 8-bit. I hear that a lot, and I do. I collect for the 8-bit. But some people may just want to go the console route, and that's totally fine too. I think the 5200 can be justified and still be collected these days. Just know what you're getting into and know that there are some fantastic aftermarket games and games still being made. This is an AWA game coming soon to a future multi-cart, hopefully in the spring, and they are some wonderful games, and I can't wait to see that, and hopefully we'll cover that in a future video. But yes, there's so much more. Here's another conversion, Bosconian for the 5200, and this is absolutely stunning. This is an amazing arcade conversion. I do believe it's on Atari 8-bit and was converted to 5200, but fantastic. Voice and everything. I mean, just amazing graphics. I mean, if this came out back in the day, holy cow, I would have been blown away. But it's just, I'm a big fan of Bosconian, and it's just nice to see such a wonderful port offered here. And only way to play it, I do believe, is the Atari Max multi-cart and the Ultimate multi-cart. There's just so many of these little conversions and hacks that it's an easy way to play a multitude of games, and you're going to save a lot of money. Yeah, it's expensive up front, but then you can play cool stuff. Now, if you don't want to go the physical cart route, if you don't want to play Scramble, you can play it this way. Scramble is stunning. Now, it's one of my favorite versions of this arcade game. It's so well done. It's got so many little animations and the graphics, the color, the gameplay, all just amazing. They did just an amazing job on this. And this really just shows, hey, the 5200 does still matter. 40 years later, it is still rocking. It is still offering some aftermarket quality gaming experience. Getting that port that it never got, or getting that hack it never got, or something else, even hardware. There continues to be support and enthusiasts for people to make this console better. Now, is it perfect? No. But let me tell you this game. This game is the game, and that's Atari Blast. And this is absolutely an homage to Atari. It's an amazing shooter. It's stunning. Now, the only way to play it is the SD multi-cart that I'm showing, and holy cow, it's just so amazing. I wish there was more games in the library to showcase the power of this wonderful console. And yeah, it had several shortcomings. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not saying it's for everybody. But I'm saying this is why I collect it, and I'm glad I do. And hopefully this helps other collectors to maybe consider branching out. Maybe you're an Atari collector. Maybe you stuck with the 2600. Well, you may want to consider the 5200, and if not, you can always emulate it. Emulation is a total fine way to go, especially if you just want to experience the game. I just want to thank everybody for coming to my channel, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Long live Atari. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. This is the Immortal John Hancock, and you have a good day.